It's Tuesday, August 26th, and this weather pattern is about to break some records in the form of some cold weather. And we can see a little area seeing some very cold temperatures, potentially breaking some records for lows this time of the year, being from Kansas, Oklahoma, then even down into northern Mississippi, and then pretty much everywhere that's not Texas, the Gulf Coast and central and southern Florida will be feeling some very nice weather today as well, likely being in that mid 60s to low 80s feels like temperatures range today. And the same thing will go for a lot of areas out west, excluding the immediate Pacific coast. That region would likely be seeing some low 90s feels like temperatures. And then there is also going to be a pretty decent threat for a lot of flooding today out west, then also in the southern plains, specifically in the western portion of Oklahoma, potentially seeing 2 to 4 inches of rain as well. Then all of our other slight risk, one being in southern AZ, another one being up here in the pretty far eastern Rockies in New Mexico and also Colorado, then another one up here near Salt Lake City and southern Idaho, all seeing potentially 2 to 4 inches of rain in those slight risk areas of excessive rainfall and also potentially some flash flooding. Then in our big marginal risk, covering pretty much a lot of the Great Basin, some of the Rockies, and then the Southwest and Southern Plains as well. And we even have a little blotch out here in the Tampa Bay area. Could potentially see 1 to 2 inches of rainfall and also that conditional threat of flooding today. And then you may have noticed that I haven't mentioned any risk of severe weather today. Well, that is because there is no risk of seeing severe weather today, currently outlined by the Storm Prediction Center. The only area which I do think could potentially see some severe storms, kind of like the past couple of days, we're starting to see a pretty common weather pattern develop, is potentially some storms potentially being severe out here in southern Arizona associated with that monsoon going on, and then also out here in the upper plains convergence zone as well. But pretty much everywhere else, it's just going to be the potential for some strong to general just thunderstorms in this light green shaded area. Then also we can see a lot of calm for a lot of the US as well. So that's definitely very good. And then for more good news, there are currently no disturbances posing any threat to the Caribbean or US at the moment. We still, of course, do have Tropical Storm Fernand, but it is losing steam and is pushing out to the Atlantic, not causing any problems. And we're actually not really expecting to see any development, at least for the next couple of weeks. The models aren't hinting at anything as well. Then here's what the radar could look like with our monsoon down here in the southwest Great Basin and Colorado Plateau. We can see that we're going to start to get widespread thunderstorms starting around the early afternoon, and these would likely just be for the threat of some 60-mile-an-hour damaging winds with a lot of outflow going on along a high pressure system, then just a very, very moist environment with some of that southerly flow around that clockwise flow from that high pressure system, really affecting a lot of moisture up into the area. And that is when we start to really see those monsoon conditions take place. And of course, in our upper plains converted zone, potentially some strong to severe storms just being aided by the geography of that region. And then also we're going to see just a lot of widespread thunderstorms as well, initiated by some troughing. And that troughing is actually going to extend pretty far north, all the way up into southern Idaho. That is why we could potentially see that risk of flash flooding as well as some strong storms out here as we go into the night today. And then here are our 500 millibar winds, shedding more light on why our weather pattern is the current way it is. We do see this big trough pretty much overspreading all of the eastern US, pretty much getting rid of that risk of pretty much any severe weather or thunderstorms for this entire region. Of course, for Florida and the immediate Gulf Coast, definitely seen a lot of storms in the past couple of days with a stalled front down here, and that's likely to continue for the rest of the week. But our main area is going to be back out here with our high pressure system, and then some troughing back in the southwest Great Basin and Colorado Plateau. That's really where we're going to see the bulk of the storms today, and we can see that's going to be aided by that high pressure system organizing shear, affecting quite a bit of organizing shear, and then also just moisture in general. Then that troughing as well, helping to possibly initiate a couple of storms as well. But that is why our weather pattern is the way it is currently. And then this is the storm environment in the southwest, specifically giving a big look into why we're seeing that monsoon weather pattern at the moment. And the main thing is that it's going to be very, very moist for this region, specifically 63 dew point. That is extremely moist for the southwest. That is why that monsoon weather is going on. We also see some high low level lapse rates, quite a bit of dry air loft, then also higher storm bases, and then also not really a hail look at here at all. Then our downdraft cape is also going to be pretty high at around 1500, as well as our precipitable water at 1.51. So all things hinting towards some outflow driven storm clusters today. And then our cape is also nearing that 1,000 threshold for thunderstorms. But I definitely do think we could see a couple of storms producing some strong outflow and 60-mile-an-hour damaging winds in our monsoon risk area today.